If you love creamy soup with something crispy on top, listen to this. These are butter beans baked into a Parmesan crisp and are so delicious as a soup topping and just as a snack. They're crispy on the outside and creamy on the inside. In the winter, I love soup for dinner, especially the creamy ones. And I love to pair that creamy texture with something crispy and crunchy. So let's make these crispy butter beans. It's pretty hard to claim that a recipe is 3 ingredients, but this truly is butter beans, Parmesan cheese, and a little olive oil. It's hard to get simpler than that. The trick is to drain and rinse the butter beans and then pat them dry. So you want to give this a few minutes to be able to put the butter beans in between a tea towel or paper towels and soak up any extra moisture from the butter beans. This is going to help the Parmesan stick to the butter beans and crisp up into that beautiful texture. You could use other beans for this, but I really like the texture of the butter bean and its size. There's enough surface area for the Parmesan to stick to and get crispy, and they're big enough to retain some of their creaminess inside, creating a wonderfully delicious contrast. You're going to use a grated or crumbled Parmesan cheese, and you are going to create a bed of that Parmesan, one big bed of that Parmesan cheese on a parchment lined baking dish. Drizzle it with a little olive oil and create one layer. You're going to try to thin out the Parmesan cheese as much as you can without starting to see the parchment paper through the Parmesan cheese. Then you are going to take the butter beans and place them in a single layer over the Parmesan cheese. This might actually be the hardest part. You're just going to place the butter beans next to each other in a single layer, drizzle again with olive oil so the other side of the butter beans get a little crisp too, until that Parmesan creates a crispy layer at the bottom. Take it out of the oven, give yourself a few minutes at least to let it cool off enough that you don't burn the roof of your mouth. The cooling also helps kind of let the cheese and everything cool enough that you get that delicious crispy texture. You're gonna break it up into rustic chunks, and you can eat it as a snack, but it is an excellent topper for creamy soups. Or they're also excellent in a salad like a crouton. We always love to say that a recipe is just as good the next day or the day after that. That's not true for this recipe. They are best fresh. With only 3 pantry ingredients, this is a great recipe to have up your sleeve on soup and salad night.